Good evening. I'm Coach Connie, Queen of the Tweens and Teens. I assist Black and Brown parents who are struggling with stress and family discord and support them on their shift or journey to parental peace. Before I get started this evening, I just wanted to point out the fact that today is a day like no other. Every day is a day like no other, but today numerically is a day like few other. Today's date, 4/24/24. Write it forwards, write it backwards. It's the exact same thing. That doesn't happen very often. So today is a special day. Yes. The numerical outline of today makes today special. Tonight, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about how your mirror can actually be a looking glass. They sound like they're the same thing, but they are not. Your mirror can be your looking glass. How many of you remember the story Alice in Wonderland? And then part two, or the second book involving Alice, was Alice through the looking glass. Okay. So when Alice went through the looking glass, do you remember what she found? She found a world that was kind of on its head, so to speak. Um, as you walked away from things, you got closer. And as you walked really close to things, you got further away. Running towards something actually puts you further away from it. There were lots of topsy-turvy things that were just not as one would think they would be, right? When she went through the looking glass, she found a whole different perspective on the world, and she had to deal with those shifting realities, right? So much like Alice going through the looking glass, when we look in the mirror, we see a static picture, right? When we look in the mirror, we look, we see, and what we see is what it is, right? But actually, when it comes to parenting, your mirror can definitely be a looking glass. When we look in the mirror and we're thinking about parenting and we look in the mirror, all we see is one perspective being reflected back to us. And so often we pigeonhole ourselves into thinking there's just one way to deal with this situation, just one correct way, and all of the other ways, and all of the other people, and all of the other perspectives are incorrect. Meanwhile, in order to practice balance and ensuring that both you as the parent and your children have a sense of ownership over their course of life and happiness, contentment, right? We can start to look at that mirror as a looking glass, meaning, however, you have moved along the pathway of parenthood, whatever philosophy you have been most aligned to, whatever parent is the one that you emulate, whatever television parent you look at as a hero and you attempt to parent in that style. All of the things that you have participated in regards to parenting up until today, when we're going to change your mirror into a looking glass, all of those things could be put aside. You're not wedded to any one style of parenting. You're not wed to any one choice in your parenting. You're not wed to any one outcome in your parenting. So we're going to look at the mirror as if it were a looking glass, right? Because a looking glass, one of the more clear definitions of a looking glass is where things are opposite to what are expected. So, much like I just said with Alice, when she went through the looking glass, running towards something kept her further away from it. Now, when she's on this side of the looking glass and she's living her everyday life, she knows if she runs towards something, she's going to get closer and closer to it the longer she runs. In the looking glass, however, the further you run, the further you are away from the item as opposed to running towards it. Give yourself grace. Realize that your mirror is a looking glass, meaning you don't have to quietly inherit anyone's parenting styles. You have a right, not even just a right, I mean, parents, especially our Black and brown parents, you have an obligation. You have an obligation to be your authentic self when you are raising our children. It's not even about a choice. We have to be seen at our vulnerable points. We have to be seen when we're angry. We have to be seen when we're sad, right? Those normal everyday inflections on our daily experience are part of the messaging that allows your children to believe it's okay if I feel that way and I come to my parent, because they have demonstrated that they understand those emotions. So coming and bringing your issues to your parent, if they are actually aware, should be a smoother ride than an unaware parent. So again, in terms of parenting, you are not wed to one formula, one person, one hero, one blog, one song. You're not wed to any of that. You are here to be your authentic self first and foremost, and then the most authentic parent you can be. And that's why we need looking glasses and not mirrors. Again, as we do all this talk about some classic literature, I just want to remind you that while you are on your journey through the looking glass, while you are endeavoring to connect with parenting styles and choices that are outside of the realm, you don't have to connect alone. You have a family, you have a community, you have me, Coach Connie, and I'm definitely here to assist you. So if there's anything that resonated with you, is there anything that resonated with you that I shared this evening? If you understand the concept of using your mirror as a looking glass so that you can not feel married or burdened to only one way parenting. Only one way parenting is the quickest train to frustrated parenting. We don't need to be frustrated as parents. We need to be effective as parents. And there are various ways to build that effectiveness, but one is being flexible. Your flexibility, your nimbleness, your ability to shift, your you're being open to various perspectives. You're being open to your child having an opinion, as long as it's delivered respectfully. All those things is you looking through your looking glass. So remember 42424, baby, it is different for a reason. So just like the numbers of the day make today special, remember to polish and shine your mirror, not to look and see one way, but to use it as a looking glass and embrace all of the ways that feel authentic to you. Go to my homepage, click the link for a discovery call. Let's connect. Let's talk. If you're having issues connecting with your tween or teen, if you have any questions, anything that I could be of support or service to, please click the link in my homepage and let's connect. Thank you so much. Go out there and enjoy the rest of your 42424. Take care.